What's up? What's up? Goodness gracious, it's Friday already, man. It's the first Friday, Fibroid Friday of 2022. Welcome one and all to the clinic, to the podcast, to the show, to the class, to the universe, to the conversation. We've got thousands of people on the call right now. Goodness gracious, you guys are lucky you made the front page. So how's everyone doing this wonderful Friday? So glad you could have you guys here. So happy that you guys have us here. Dr. Amsu, that's a bright jumper you got on there, mate.
Winter is here, my friend. I ain't playing around.
It's never that cold.
I ain't playing around.
Yeah, evidently.
I'm wearing polar next to bed.
It hasn't been that cold in Atlanta since Sherman burnt the place down. That's how thick that sweater is.
But it is nice. You warmed up the room pretty nice.
Mate. It was your protege over there. So listen, welcome everyone. Welcome Dr. Amsu, Fibroid Fridays. You know where we are. Great Black Detox, Fibroid Friday clinic. Opportunity for you guys to ask questions, join the conversation about all things health, primarily female reproductive health. But you know, the conversation just gets broader and broader and broader. Soon we're going to be doing magic tricks and needlepoint lessons probably on this on these Friday calls. I don't know if I'm ever going to get over how bright your sweater is, mate. We're going to have to dim the lights over here, Joe.
I'm just shining.
Shining.
I think I look heavenly. Angelic. I look angelic.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it. So, Dr. Amson, man, a lot of things going on this week. Well, it's been 2 days since we did the last session. I know we've been talking about doing some podcasts and so on and so forth. You know, we're going to have to invite some of our regular callers into our show when we do our podcasts. Maybe we'll get a few people from the UK and over here in the States to come on the show. What do you think?
Yeah, most definitely. You know, I know people are still kind of hungover from the new year.
From the liquor.
From, you know, the whole being out of work, or off work, not out of work. Well, who knows? I might be right. Out of work with everything what's going on. All people being laid off for not following mandates and such. Or not even laid off, fired, right? You're not laid off, they're fired. When I was young, I thought laid off and fired were the same thing. But
right.
It's really not the same thing.
No.
But, you know, I'm following your lead, mate. I'm following your lead, my friend.
Well, listen, you know the format, guys. The Fibroid Fridays, again, it's an opportunity for you guys to ask questions. Shout out to those on the IG. I haven't logged into IG yet. If you do have questions in the IG, let me know. Let me log into the IG now, and I'll try my best to get to your questions. It's a lot more difficult on IG because it just, every time someone joins, it takes up another line. So before you know it, you kind of miss questions. But I will endeavor to do my best to get to some IG questions. But the best thing to do is for you guys to join the Zoom. That way you can interact, you can ask your questions live, and we can see your beautiful faces. And so in Dr. Amsu's link tree, there is a link which will take you directly to the Zoom. And you can go from there to there, so we can look you straight in the eye, and we can get you on camera. You can ask your questions and join the conversation that way. Up until that point, we will take questions from the Zoom. Also, as you know, we've started live streaming, simulcasting onto YouTube, which is also a very good channel. And in fact, the YouTube's pretty cool because you get to, and I do both. I've got both the YouTube, the Zoom and the IG on when I'm here. But you get to see the full screen. You get to see both screens, and you also get to see some of the content that we throw up as well on the YouTube that we can't really do in the Zoom without taking over the whole screen. And you guys in IG will never see that stuff. All you'll see is this bright jumper, sweater, Moby Dick. What was the name of the captain in Moby Dick?
That's a good question.
It's one of those questions, you know. One day the thought came to me. I said, you know, what was that man's name?
I'm going to tell you in a second.
What was his name? Famous character for some reason. You know, there are some movies.
Right. It's a famous.
For a very long time, there was a quiz. I watched
thinking about that now. I'm not even concentrating on what we're supposed to be doing now. I'm trying to remember the guy's name.
The question was, what was the name of Frankenstein's monster? Right? And everyone, of course, was perplexed because, hold on, they thought the monster, you know, we just know the monster is Frankenstein.
Right.
But the monster wasn't Frankenstein, it was Frankenstein's monster.
Right.
The doctor was Frankenstein. Why is toll-free call calling me from probably some crank? Who do you think is India? I should have answered it. Probably trying to sell me health insurance or something. So, what's up, Pamela? The Bell Posse's in the house.
Pamela, Nadira.
How many bells do we have? There's 3 bells, right? But one of the bells isn't Three bells. There's only 2 bells in right now.
There's 3 of us, but there's only 2 on the call today.
Right.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Nadira.
Happy New Year to you too, Nadira.
As long as none of you don't say you're not her keeper, we won't worry.
Okay.
The 3rd bell. So listen, folks, we're going to have a conversation. We haven't got any questions yet. In fact, I'm going to, Dr. Amsu, talk. I'm going to check the IG, see if we've got any. Captain Ahab.
Ahab. Yeah, I think it was Ahab. It's definitely Ahab. Ahab something though.
What did he say? I can't get in for some reason. Let me try. Oh, here we go.
But
no, I missed that question. What was the question?
No, he asked if it was Ahab, the captain.
Oh, you said it rang a slight bell, and I thought, okay, Captain A. It sounds like an IG handle. Do you know what I mean? Captain Ahab Sexy or something, 37. Okay, yeah, that sounds familiar actually.
Captain Peleg?
Nah.
No. For some reason, I remember Ahab sounds familiar because I remember it had a slight Arabic kind of thing to it. But we'll look it up. So,
no, it's one of those Jebediah type of names. Ahab.
Right, Ahab, right. Okay, driving, listening now. Would like to consult Dr. Amsu. How can I set that up? So, grant me Serenity 12 on IG. Would like to set up a consultation with you in that sweater, Dr. Amsu. She wants to know how does she go about setting up. Yeah, you must wear that sweater during the consultation.
All right, so go to greatblackdetox.com/consultations. You can write in the IG, in fact, /consultations, and book either the advanced or the web. So again, greatblackdetox.com /consultations and book
away.
Advanced or web.
And put in the notes, white sweater preferred. And you never know, he may oblige. Who's OW on the Zoom? Ow. I know your name's not Ow.
Oprah Winfrey. Hey, Oprah!
Oprah's on.
All right.
But why she mute her camera? Maybe some contractual thing.
Speaking of which, this week on the Oprah Winfrey Network, OWN, there was a documentary called Eggs Over Easy.
Did you catch it?
Well, I'm in it.
You've seen it already, but did you catch the airing?
No, I absolutely forgot. I think we were. What day was it? It was either Tuesday or Wednesday. It was on, and we were here. We were finishing here and that, and slipped my mind. So check out Oprah Winfrey Network and see if you can get a replay or stream of Eggs Over Easy, which is about infertility in the black community and estrogen dominance, where it was a few years ago when I was actually interviewed for that, and it's taken all this time for it to reach to, like, quote unquote mainstream, and such an important subject as well, about the things like endometriosis and PCOS and fibroids that are affecting women's fertility. And it's becoming more and more of a problem because black women, you are being exposed to more and more atmospheric toxins that are endocrine disrupting chemicals that are taking their toll. So there's so many things that's going on, a few taboo subjects. Is that it? Mm-hmm. How you gonna watch the thing in the middle of what we're doing here?
She's cute. It's more interesting.
Man's tuning out. You might as well get some popcorn out.
Yeah,
right? Put the old Jimmy Jams on.
You carry on. But yeah, it's actually pretty well shot. How many years? This is quite a few years old now. With this was done.
Yeah, I think like this final one, what they got. I think she's added a lot to it.
Spliced in.
Yeah. So what's what, I can't.
This is just an exit. How long was the whole thing? This is only 9 minutes and 20.
Yes. So I want to give a big shout out to Chiquita Lockley. Mm-hmm. She's the writer, producer, director. She was very passionate about it due to her own experiences, and great documentary. I mean, the last time I saw it was when we saw it, like around. I remember they about a year and a half ago they had a in the middle of the pandemic.
Didn't she have a seminar type
thing where
a viewing? It was a viewing,
and then question and answers.
Wasn't it here in Atlanta? Wasn't it at the theater? Anyway, it was somewhere. Was it Dallas?
It was online.
Okay, I thought there was something
online.
I thought that.
But you had mushrooms that day, so you thought it was.
No, I had mushrooms the day before.
But anyway, any road. Great documentary. Chiquita Lockley. Keep your eyes open for her. She's starting her career, and I think she's done a fantastic. I'm seeing the quality of how it looks in post, and it looks great.
Okay, excellent. So listen, guys, I'm checking out the video as well. I'm not seeing any questions in the Zoom, not seeing any questions in the IG. So what we're going to do, move to plan B, and we're going to go home early. So for those of you in the IG, in fact, sorry, for those of you on the Zoom, we're about to have a conversation. I want to know who OW is.
What time is that?
I don't know. Oh, this might need a refresh or something. No, watch that. So we're going to have a conversation with those people on the... Okay, now my app is stuck. All right, so no questions. If no questions, we're going home. Thanks, guys, for popping in. So Pamela, since you're in my number one box, you're in the magic chair, and you just put your hand up. How you doing? You got to unmute, Pamela.
Hello. I was waiting to let everybody talk about fibroids, but since there's a lull, I wanted to let you know that I immediately went to find the Uvb lights. And every time I would find one, it would say that it also had UVA. Are they supposed to have both in there, or am I looking in the wrong place?
All right. So when the sun shines, it emits all frequencies simultaneously. So UVA is going to be in there with UVB, but the UVB is what your skin is going to utilize for the vitamin D. Okay.
That's it.
So that's it. So get the UVB lamps, and I don't have one myself because I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, and we have UVB all year round. So we're better than you guys. Yes. We're better than you. But Miami's even better than us because they have better quality sunlight, especially during the winter, because they're closer to the equator than we are.
You say Atlanta does.
Atlanta has good quality sunshine all year round, but at certain times. But Miami has even better quality because they're closer to the equator. So the sun gets higher in the sky. So it's about the angle of the sun.
Angle of the sun. Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
All right. So all year round, the sun is shining. All its rays are coming through, but it's how it's broken up by the atmosphere, right? Mm-hmm. And the shallower the angle, right, means less that frequency of light or radiation is dispersed or refracted away. So the higher the angle, the more perpendicular the angle is, and I love to say the word perpendicular because it makes me sound scientific. So the more perpendicular the angle of the sun is, the more UVB and even UVC we will get. So people on the equator, they get UVB and UVC, and it's been taught about UVC being more carcinogenic. Not to us though. We are right.
Okay.
So yes. So go if you want to know where to buy UVB lamps, go online, right? And if you're a Luddite and you don't want to be online buying stuff, you can take yourself down to a pet store.
Or where they
keep the reptiles. and get yourself a UVB lamp.
Got it. Thank you so much.
All right, you're most welcome, Pamela.
Thank you, Pamela. So your sister's in the next room, and she's got her hand up as well. What's up, Nadira? I know you guys are all in the same house. Yeah. What's up, Nadira?
How are you both doing?
We are doing great.
Hi, Nadira.
I'm okay. I still have my cold, also known as what is it, Omicron or Marion, whatever you want to call it.
Marion. Omi-cold.
Yeah, my Omi-cold. Exactly, that's a great title for it. But it's cold outside, so it's gonna probably last longer. So I do have a question about estrogen dominant. So how do you, in terms of like the foods, how do you know, like, how are you able to test that? Because that's the one thing I'd been thinking about. I was like, okay, well, I'm sure there's some extensive testing that was done on these foods, but like, how do you know, like, what was the process of doing that? I'm interested to find out.
All right. So unless you have a lab, right, where you're you're testing for specific chemicals and what have you, nutrients and enzymes or whatever, you're not gonna know. So we rely upon studies that are carried out by scientists, PhDs, people who have labs, who have FDA approved labs, and they there's a lot of money that's pumped into a lot of universities, right, and scientific institutions where they carry out a lot of experiments, and they test foods for different nutrients and what have you. So I do not have such a lab, so I do research, secondary research, if you want, where there's somebody who has the facilities, and over years they've been studying foods and publishing results of what they find. So there are foods which are estrogenic in nature, but the type of estrogen that it mimics, or the receptors that that certain foods initiate, are estrogen receptor beta receptors, right? ER beta, which inhibit the effects of estrogen. So there are some foods which are, like cauliflower, for instance, is estrogenic, but it activates or is received by the beta receptors on cells. So it actually has the reverse effect. Now, there are some foods that white women will eat that are estrogenic, and it activates it binds to their beta receptors. But in black women, it will bind to alpha receptors and then get exaggerated. So again, it's about how we metabolize, right? Whether there's hydroxylation or methylation that takes place, and hydroxylation has that negative effect where it becomes more estrogenic, whereas methylation, it becomes less estrogenic, or deregulates, downregulates. All right. Now you kind of look like you are glowing today. How are you feeling? Because you kind of look like you are glowing. You look glowing.
Well, I have my light set up this time. Usually I don't, but I finally am I have my light ring on me, but my skin always glows. So that's not,
I like that
that's
confidence.
not my issue.
Because I was gonna say, so you usually ashy? What you trying to tell us?
No, I just have a more kick or some highlights on my face versus usually I'm always backlit, but I was like, let me try using this light ray. You can see it in my glasses.
Right.
But I gave myself a little amber soft light today. So
all right, it's working.
Thank you.
Yeah. So do you have any questions?
More further questions?
Yeah.
Sure. In a roundabout way, is it possible, because my fibroid situation is very unique.
Yes.
That, or maybe it's the anemia that I just have to avoid pretty much everything. Like I have to be very specific about what I eat, or is it that some people's systems react a little slower than others. Like perhaps some women it takes 3 months or a week, or some women it takes a year.
Yes,
longer.
Exactly. And that's where epigenetics is in play, right? Mm-hmm. Epigenetics. So how you've been living your life, decisions that you've made, in food choices, in where you've been breathing air, environments that you've been in, the amount of exercise you've been doing, the amount of sex you've had in your life, all these factors will be either switching off certain genes or switching on certain genes. And that determines how you metabolize and then how you express certain genes, and how you either upregulate or downregulate, whether you hydroxylate or methylate, how much CYP19A1 you produce, aromatization, how that's taken in your body, the amount of serum estrogen, and how your body tries to flush that out. So there are we have trillions of cells in our body, and every cell has receptors and expresses themselves in different ways. There's nuclear in our cells we have our nuclei in our cells, which are responsible for expressing DNA, right, on how that cell operates, how that cell is going to communicate with other cells, and how we live our lives determines what happens in our bodies, how long it takes for remedies to actually kick in, how long it takes. Some people smoke all their lives and never get sick. Then some people smoke for a few months and they can get cancer. Some people recover from cancer, some people don't. So it does take different times for different people. Even if you are in the same family, it's all about and even the time of your birth, where you were born and the time you were born plays a factor, in how your body behaves, which is why we have this whole system of cosmology and zodiac signs and all that, where there is a level of even though a lot of people will say it's pseudoscience, there is evidence of things, but because it's hard to repeat, it's classified as a pseudoscience. But there are some powerful truths to different personalities. And just the same way how we have different psychological personalities, we have different physiological personalities, and those are also determined by what time of the year you were born, what time of day you were born, and where you were born on the planet. All these things have factors. Just like if you go anywhere around the world, you can have the same plant a seed in different soil, in somewhere where it's more arid, it's drier, somewhere where it's more temperate and wet, and they're gonna behave differently. They're gonna those same two plants are gonna have different ways how they express themselves.
Okay. So in regards to that, understanding that this, where you were born and the location, the temperature, the time of year, is it better to, I guess what I'm trying to get at is it better to sort of do these cleanses, like just do them more often, but when it comes, let's say around time for your birthday, like say, all right, I'm born in the spring, right? So I should probably test or do some sort of you call it the ultrasound in like 6 months from now instead of doing it in the winter. Like, does that make sense? What I'm trying to say is like, because what I'm trying to understand is with genetics and my current fibroid situation, I clearly need to give myself a long time to allow the supplements and the diet change to take effect. Perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, with you, because you know, me and you have spoken, and it's like, you're an anomaly.
Yeah.
But I did say as well, because you said that the house that you live in, it's an old house.
Yeah.
Right. And if you're puzzled as to why is this going on, you might want to check the insulation. You might want to check the plumbing and all that to see if there are any toxic substances like lead, like asbestos, and your mom said, no, the house is good.
I'm one of those people who check stuff.
Say that again, Pamela.
People that always check that stuff. I have people come in and test stuff to make sure that it's up to par, and there's no asbestos that I know of. We did have to deal one time with mold.
Okay. And, mold usually comes around, and Mikey probably can go into this. Mold comes around because of certain materials that are used to insulate the house. The type of brick, brick.
What is
a
it?
Brick
Wood?
is not a brick. Brick is made up of different combinations of different materials.
Right, aggregates and so on. And plus, with the older houses as well, there's, things under the floorboards and the other side of the wood. You may have, redecorated several times, but you may have lead paint somewhere in the house, in the attic. Now, again, Dr. Hampton's not saying this is the cause. However, it doesn't take a lot in certain situations. Maybe there's a warm room in the house that, billows a certain type of air, a toxin. And I don't know if you use, dehumidifiers or air purifiers. It's funny, when back in the day when we were born, a couple of years ago, one of the big things in the UK was Legionnaire's disease, right? And Legionnaire's disease, people would get it at hospital when they were in the hospital. They did a whole bunch of research and they found out it was being spread by the ventilation systems in the hospitals. And it's interesting, we don't use HVAC in the UK. We have immersion heaters, we have boilers and radiators.
Don't get hot enough.
But in America,
AC.
right? But what I'm saying, but we don't have central in the houses.
Central air, right?
It's only in hospitals, schools, and
right.
buildings. Whereas in America, everyone's got HVAC for the most part in their house. So you have systems that basically circulate this air around your home. So yeah, your living room, your hallway, your bedrooms, they all may be fine, but there may be somewhere in your house that has this mold or something like that, And so, I mean, it's really good that you guys have people to come in and check.
And also filters, how often you change the filters, because, all right, so we have all kinds of staphylococcus, which is staph, right, which cause staph infections and all that, right? Always trying to get into our skin. But when we shed skin, and we shed skin all day, every day, every time we comb our hair and whatever, we're putting particles of our skin and our hair, with our DNA into the atmosphere. It goes in, it's sucked up into the HVAC system, and then this bacteria bacteria ain't like viruses, where viruses will die off. Bacteria will go and cotch somewhere and fester, take longer to die, right? So bacteria are carried and will set up shop wherever there's an environment for them to exist. So you saying there's a time when you had mold and all the spores from mold, they are very toxic. They cause all kinds of problems. You know, and now, imagine now, you know, there are, Mikey was speaking to people a few months ago on one of these calls about detoxifying your home. And one of the processes of detoxification of your home is changing them filters on your HVAC unit. And even, you know, every so often you got to change out the actual, what do you call them? The silver thing, what them called?
The silver thing.
Conduits.
The ducts. The ducts. In the HVAC, the ducts. Yeah.
The ducts.
See, the problem is moisture. So very quickly, so here's the thing about HVAC as well, right? Funny enough, a lot of modern houses, especially townhomes, right, that have an HVAC system, let's say in the basement or the ground floor. So you have ducts or flues that run from the basement to the roof, to the ceiling where the chimneys are, right? So you may have between 20 and 30, 40 feet of piping. Now, so that's warm air rising up. What do we know what happens to warm air when it reaches cold air? You get condensation. So now you have moisture in these pipes, right? And it's the moisture that's the problem, because now when the bacteria combine with dust in the air and they combine with moisture, you now have a kind of mud that's in these pipes. And that is the absolute petri dish breeding ground for bacterium, you see? So HVAC systems are brilliant for, you know, efficiency, spreading heat and cool around the houses, but they're also a breeding ground for all manner of pesticides. Pestilence. Pesticides is a pestilence, yeah.
Can I say one thing and then you can go to the next person?
You can take your time, Pamela. You are royalty.
Wait,
your family is royalty to us.
You're a belle.
Right.
Okay. You can come back. I just want to clear that part about the H system and all of those things. I'm in the old house because I don't have all of that stuff. I kept all the individual air conditioners. So I have someone come in and there's a system in the house, but they come in, Sears comes in and they vacuum all that stuff out every year. And then the vacuums, you have to change the air conditioners, you have to change all the filters. And then the mold thing that I found, there's one last part. That was like 2 years ago. And now I'm redoing a whole bathroom. So they'll totally take all of the tile out and redo it. And then the rest of it, we'll have to just find. But I'm always searching to make sure there's nothing there. And that's why I kept the old stuff instead of the new stuff. I don't have any of that HVAC stuff.
And that's great, you know, and I'm glad you're doing all of that, because most people don't bother. Most people don't even think about that. And a lot of people live in homes where they can't do that. If you're living in a rented home, an apartment, you don't have that luxury. So, you know, being royalty, you guys own your own homes and can get Sears to come in and spring clean your air conditioning for you. The minions, you know, yeah, guys pull up in, you know, white overalls.
You there.
Right. Yeah. And chuck them some money in a little purse, just like some coins, you know. But here's the thing. So we're talking about all the different places, all the different ways in which, you know, your particular epigenetics are affected by your environment, what you eat, how does estrogen dominance affect you, and all the different, you know, things we got to look out for. And so, as Dr. Emfs said many times, and is clearly sort of outlined in the book, is that despite all of those external environmental things, you know, in the middle of it is you, right? And your particular, I guess, expression of those polymorphisms is what's that question here. So as Dr. Emfs says, you could live in a house with a twin sister, right? Eat the same food and everything, but you and your twin sister express, you know, you respond genes differently, right? And you're twins, so you eat the same food, breathe the same air, but one of you may have tumor, one of you may have cramping or you know, bad joints or something like that, right? And here's the thing, typically, and this is me as well, you know, you don't see the correlation between a dodgy knee and bloating. right? Because no, this is totally different. One's my knee, it's a joint. The other one's inside my stomach or whatever. Do you know what I mean? But actually, when you do research and drill down and find out it's something going on in your liver, your kidney, or something like that, right? And so it's the way it's being expressed, and that's one of the, I guess, the errors that all of us experience, because we weren't trained medically in school. We did a bit of biology, right? You dissect a frog, but they didn't really do a lot of human biology. You have to leave school, leave college, and then go and study medicine to really understand human anatomy. Is that we don't see the correlation between symptoms and the root cause, right? And we try and sort of compartmentalize everything, not realizing that because we express things differently, it's all pointing to the same, sort of root cause. So all of that, and Dr. Emfs, you can come and clarify a lot of this, is that despite all of those things, all the environmental protections you have in your own home, you're at the center of this. And then we look at the food, we look at other environmental things as well. Because imagine you could live in a completely sterile environment, eat all of the cleanest foods you could possibly eat, and you're having fibroids. There's something that's been exacerbated, even in something clean that you may eat, right? It may be organic, it may be from a really nice store, but your body doesn't react to that particular thing, which is why the fasting and the detoxes are so good, because when you eradicate all the meals, all the food, all the toxins from your diet, and you're drinking just waters for 2 weeks for the detox 14, and then you start to reintroduce foods. Now, of course, it's difficult to monitor fibroids. If you have a scan in the house, you can see, right, on the 7th day, my fibroid shrunk by, 0.8 centimeters. Of course, that's difficult, but you do get an idea of what your body does and doesn't like. Because when you start to reintroduce foods you used to eat, you go, yeah, when I went back and I eating collard greens and I broke out. Your whole life, your body never liked collard greens, right? Your whole life, but it's just part of the food, part of your culture, so you ate it. And then you start to realize things like that. And that is why detoxing, regardless of your condition, is always an important part of our sort of.
And this is the thing as well with allergies. So you have people who right, they have allergies because they get, their face might swell up, or they might get a rash, or they get their windpipe starts to close up or whatever, right? These are the known, the basic allergic reactions, right? But there are allergic reactions that occur internally, away from sight, where it's you have it affects your blood cells, it affects your liver, it affects your kidneys, it affects your heart, right? So one of my sisters, we all grew up in the same house, and the way how her genes were expressed, she had an allergy to cats, right? Oh. And we had 2 cats, and it's like always had tissues, nose always running. I ain't naming no names. Always had runny nose, always sneezing, eyes running red and all that. It's like, why are you always sick? I don't know. Years later, as an adult, found out I'm allergic to cats. She's allergic to cats. So had we gotten rid of the cats, her childhood would have been great.
She's traumatized her whole life because.
Right, and it's like and we just put it down to you're sickly. You're sickly. Go and lie down. We're going to Disney World. You wait here.
I have one last question. Thank you ahead. For information. So, is there also, in addition to checking doing ultrasounds and lab blood work, is there another test or lab that can be done to test other parts of my body, if you will?
There's an oat, what is called an oat test, right? An oat OAT test, right?
Like oatmeal?
Like oatmeal, yes. OAT test, right? There's obviously the urine tests and that are common. If you go and see if any kind, there are labs all over this country, and there are different clinicians that will tell you, all right, let's try this test or whatever. But there's also, where do you guys live? Where there's country, or do you live in town? Do you live in the city?
It's like suburban. So it's, yeah, we can get anywhere, but it's like in the suburbs.
All right, and there's no factories or anything like that that you know of. Are there any farms or anything local?
No farms that are like local, like close by. I wouldn't say that. I said we're probably closer to factories than we are.
Oh, okay. And you know, so there's environmental tests that can be carried out to see what substances are being carried in the air as well, because you know the reality is very scary of what we have going on around us all the time. Then there's the, you know, the low, the EMFs, the low EMFs that also cause problems as well. You know, we're surrounded by different frequencies, electromagnetic frequencies that can have an effect, which is why, you know, at the beginning of the pandemic, you had, you know, the foil hats talking about 5G, which, you know, and it's been made to be foil hats that are talking about it, but there is legitimacy to claims about how EMFs affect the body and how they can affect different organs, how they can induce viruses and bacteria that are dormant in us. They can actually, you know, awaken them, if you will, right? So there are studies that go on about so much factors and cofactors that can be determining what is going on in our bodies that we don't even know about. And it is scary, which is why, you know, we really have to take care of our health by making sure we do follow principles of, you know, when we know there's a toxin. So don't go to Walmart and go into the aisles and buy processed foods. Don't go to the refrigerators to go and buy your, you know, your microwave dinner or whatever. Leave those things alone. Eat whole, organic, and wild produce. Be plant-based, right? There's some people who eat a bit of meat every now and again, and some people can get away with that. But when you eat majority plant-based, most of your stuff is are whole foods, right? That's the way to be. That's the way to go. Regular hydration, right? Regular exercise, getting into the sun, right? Certain practices that we do in our lifestyle that we omit, you know, not being sedentary. All these things will give us protection from you know, any diseases or conditions, or, you know, help us to protect us from toxins, pollutants, and what have you, because our bodies deal with these things all the time, 24/7. We're fighting off whatever the invisible, right? In Islam they call it jinn, right?
Yes.
Or doppy in Jamaica, right? And it's just stuff that you can't see with the naked eye that can affect you, can alter your behavior. That's going on, you know, whether, you know, spells, whether somebody's put a jinx on you, it might be something that you're drinking. They put something in, you know, there's something in your water that alters your behavior. So whenever there's a physiological reaction to something, there's a psychological counterpart, whether it's just a slight in personality or in mood. We are affected by these things, you know, so we have to mind our minds, our brains, you know, we have to mind what substances are feeding and our brains are swimming in, or that's affecting us, you know, because anything that affects your brain, there's the blatant psychological, there's the neurological, there's the physiological, right? It's the center. So there's so many things, so many factors, and it is scary. So the best thing for us to do is just make sure that what we know about, we do the best for ourselves.
Got it. Thank you.
All right. You're most welcome.
Thank you, Nadira.
You're welcome.
Who dares? Laverne, What's up, Laverne?
Okay, I'm sorry. I have a lot of noise going on there.
You babysitting?
I'm good.
Mm.
I'm good. I have a question. Questions. Why is my picture showing up on your screen?
Why is it or isn't it?
It is. It's like it showed up on your screen. It
Yeah.
was doing that when Nadira was talking to you.
We had a vote, and it came back as being our favorite picture. So that's the one we're going to use for everything now.
It looks good though, but you guys like to see people, but we can't really see you when that happened.
Oh,
And
no,
then-
it switches. You're on
Yeah.
Zoom, right? So what do you see right now? Right now you see your picture and us on the top, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes it just goes to your picture. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay.
But
All
you
right,
look
well,
like
that's out of our control. That's Wujo in the background here. He's playing around. He's studying. He's learning he's learning and playing with the technology. So
Whenever we fire him, he comes back with new tricks.
Okay. 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 So, question. My brother, he was on the IG last Wednesday. He has a question related to his wife. They found a benign tumor in her lung.
okay.
Yeah, and he says she has a pain in her chest, like when she stretch her. You stretch out your arms. And she kind of like, I guess, go back a little. There's a pain in her chest. She feel like a pain. So she doesn't know if the doctor said that they're not worried about the tumor because it's not that big. And she wants to know if that would be the cause, for her to be having a pain, and what can they use or do to get rid of that tumor if in the lung, because the doctors are not attending to it right now because they said they're not concerned.
Right.
And
and this is what we hate about allopathic medicine and certain doctors operate. If it's policy or whatever, that we're not worried about it right now, and then they wait for it to be a problem, and then we got to deal with this. Very reactive instead of being proactive. Any tumor you get anywhere in your body, any pain that is chronic, like you might get an acute pain, and it's like why, but if it stays there, it's a concern. That's chronic inflammatory condition. That's a chronic inflammatory condition. A tumor is a chronic inflammatory condition, and tumor means growth. It's one of the 5 cardinals of inflammation. Dolor, which is pain, is another one of the 5 cardinals. So she might have a tumor in her lungs, but she's feeling pain somewhere else in her chest or whatever. That's
when
all
she's
inflammation.
stretching.
When she's stretching, whether she's stretching or she's sitting still, pain is pain, and it needs to be dealt with. So when they say we're not concerned with it, this is the thing that I don't understand. Why? All right, you got a tumor. It's not really causing any problem, so we're not really concerned with it. No, it's a tumor. It's got to go. So from the moment somebody has a tumor, it's like Oncogen. We have a supplement called Oncogen. Get rid of that tumor. Yes, get rid of the tumor. Whether it's benign or malignant, it's a tumor. And tumors have this bad thing of causing damage, to other cells, to other organs. It might cause a blockage in the long run because it wasn't addressed, because that's what fibroids are. They are tumors, benign tumors, right? And, one of the things that happens is, it's just small, we'll monitor them. It's a small one, we'll just monitor it. How do you monitor a fibroid if you ain't got the tools? If you do not have the resources or the equipment to monitor a fibroid, how do you monitor your own fibroid? And if the doctor isn't around your house, ain't got the laparoscope, right, to take a view of what's going on, how do they monitor? So they come up with these terms that sets you at ease while the sinister play is, it's gonna get worse. When it gets worse, now we can charge you real money for it. So, because where it is right now, with a simple change in diet, would turn that around. But we want it to be more severe, where you need surgery, cha-ching. And after your surgery, you need treatment. You need to take this course of drugs. You know, so it's an industry. It's a health industry.
Okay. So I'll let him know. So I see it's in the chat also, the Oncogen, if I'm saying it right, Oncogen. Okay, I'll tell him what she should take to get rid of it.
Right, and D3.
Yes.
D3.
And the D3. Okay, because he was the one that has the little the children with the cold, and we told him to get the D3. So I'm going to let him know that she needs to use that as well, also the D3.
Right. All right, that sounds good. That sounds good.
Right.
But you got to start getting these people to come on here as well.
I tried to tell him get on there. He was on Zoom. I mean, he was on Instagram last Wednesday.
Right.
I'm going to tell him to get on here. Try to just get on. He can get on. But he will prefer, never mind, he prefer for me to ask a question anyway, but I'll tell him to get on.
You're doing great, Laverne. You're saving a lot of lives out there, you know.
Right.
Well, hey, I'm trying to save lives, you know, eternally and right now.
There you go, saving souls.
There you go.
Will live a healthy life.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now put them kids to bed. What time is it? Kids running around behind you.
Oh, that's actually my brother on the phone.
Oh, is that him? It sounds like there's kids running around.
Yeah, he has his kids. I'll tell him.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Ask them about this. All right. Whitney Fuller, how are you doing? We've not seen you for a while, Whitney.
Hi, good evening.
Hey, Whitney.
You can hear me well. Is that right?
Yes, we
can
can.
hear you and see you well.
Good. So you haven't seen me in a while because I've done the detox 2 times last year, and
excellent.
I've just been working on keeping the diet, the meal plan up. And this year, I think you recommended doing it quarterly. And so I will be coming up on the next quarter at the end of January. And I wanted to ask your suggestion on what detox to go through. Since I have new goals, I sort of hit my BMI, like a healthy BMI. And I want to start improving my athleticism. So I asked about doing the athletic cleanse last time, but I began because I was eliminating fibroids, and I haven't gone to the doctor to monitor, like you say, and see where my fibroids are, but I am having better improvement with my symptoms, like, you know, a 3-day menstrual cycle and no pain and cramps and things like that. So I wanted to get your advice on maybe how to blend the two, or can I transition to my other goals now, which is like athleticism, having more muscle tone and things like that.
All right. So what you do is do if you want to improve your muscle tone. So you right now you got essence and eliminate and blood and liver, right? All right.
Correct.
So you can actually keep eliminate and essence and do the Great Black Athlete Detox so that you can get best results. So
keep eliminate and essence.
Right. And
add the athlete.
And add the athlete. And the athlete is a you know, as you know, it's intermittent fasting, you know, 1 meal a day. So just make sure that you don't stray from the meal plan of the of the Great Black Athlete Detox. And you know, because this is the staple. What is in the Great Black Athlete Detox is where I want everybody to be. Everybody to be on that all day, every day, 365, 24/7, 365, doing that, you know, and working out and getting stronger, getting more toned and increasing metabolism and what have you.
And I have a follow-up with that because I have some research, or rather reading, to do to understand what what elements of that detox is like helping what elements of my body. But I was suggested to look at hormone. I think it's called like biotech. Let me look it up. It's like a hormone replacement therapy. And I think I'm just clicking through my tabs to see which one it is. But I think they are all like plant-based substances, but it's like a pellet that is inserted from what I understand. But the purpose of this is to optimize hormonal balance over like several months at a time. And I think that is what is happening with the essence, but do I understand that correctly?
Right, exactly. So essence is to stabilize your hormones, inhibit estrogen and promote testosterone, and balance your endocrine system and the hormones that make you, right? So now going and getting a pellet that is a concentrate, right, which is inserted, and then over months, that don't sound too great to me, right? That don't sound too great, but you're doing that anyway, so you don't have to do HRT because you don't need to replace hormones. You want to
okay, yeah.
Right. You don't want to replace hormones. You want to balance hormones. Right? Hormone replacement therapy is usually given to women who are postmenopausal and their progesterone levels drop or, diminish to a point where they're almost non-existent, and their estrogen levels also drop. But when they do HRT, it's usually on estrogen. For women. So I don't know the nature of this one here, but you want to provide your body with the resources where your body balances itself. So you want to feed those glands that produce hormones that, your gonadotropin releasing hormone, your thyroid stimulating hormones, your cholesterol levels are right. You have the correct amount of enzymes. If there's any aromatization taking place, it's at the right level. You have the right level of testosterone and progesterone, right? And
so what is happening is, I know in the athletic package, I think there's something in there that is supporting testosterone. Do I understand that correctly?
Olympian.
Okay.
Olympian. So Olympian helps with balancing hormones. But because if you have fibroids, that's the reason why, stay on the essence and the eliminate so you're constantly, attacking those fibroids.
Okay. So the Olympian is supporting hormonal balance.
Yes.
But for me in particular, we're trying to block I think you said aromatase.
Yeah, aromatase. Right. Yes.
Okay. I think I understand that a little better. Okay. Yeah. So that was my question. I'll go ahead.
And also, Olympian also provides B vitamins as well in their raw form so that your liver can do its job and synthesize from those nutrients to produce vitamin B.
Okay.
Different types of vitamin B. So, get on, because it's you look and your voice sounds a lot heartier, if I may say.
Okay. That could have been, I just recovered from COVID. I'm like, I don't know, it's something that might be related, the recovery process. Yeah.
Now, was you sick? Was you sick with it?
I was barely sick. It was like a cold. It wasn't severe.
Oh, Omicron. You had Omicron.
Basically, yeah, apparently.
Okay, right. All right,
yeah,
excellent.
But thank you so much.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you, Whitney. Okay, so this thing keeps freezing. Listen, got a couple of questions. I'm going to go back to the IG, then I'm going to come back to Nadira, and Nadira's raised her hand, so I think Nadira's going to ask the question she had herself anyway. But there was a question in the IG from K. Gale. Talking about something we spoke about a little while ago and asking, did Dr. Amsu have an issue with taking liquid probiotics versus eating foods with active cultures? She says she likes to buy coconut water-based liquid probiotics from Sprouts. So she was wondering, what's your view on, well, you've already spoken about it, but let's do a recap.
So we don't like you to introduce cultures into your body that were cultured outside of the body, right? So there are prebiotics that we will say, yes, do prebiotics, not probiotics. You want to feed your good bacteria. You don't want to introduce bacteria that's been cultured outside of your body into your body. All right? Because that can cause problems with your digestive system and upset your microbiome. It works for certain people. It don't work for all. You know, a lot of people can't do yogurt. It don't work for them. A lot of people can't do certain fermented substances because it doesn't, you know, you got this bacteria that's comes from outside. So we don't recommend probiotics. We recommend prebiotics. Prebiotics basically help to destroy bad bacteria while feeding good bacteria that's already in you. All right. Now, a lot of people who suffer with gut flora issues is because the bad bacteria isn't dying and it's overwhelming and devouring good bacteria. So when you start putting in probiotics, you're just basically feeding those bad bacteria. Here's some more good bacteria for you to devour. Rather than the prebiotics. So, you know, one of the best prebiotics on the planet is ginger.
But interesting, Dr. Amson, on this subject of prebiotics, probiotics, people tend to typically get on a course of biotics
right
when they're experiencing bloating or some kind of other, you know, issue with their GI tract, right? And so, you know, as we've discussed before on previous shows, that really this is a signal to do a detox.
Right.
Because what you really want to do is starve those bad bacteria rather than trying to find some clever combination of Swedish yogurt yeast to, you know, balance your gut out. You know, starve them. You know, give your body a break, do a detox, and again, yeah, starve those bad bacteria rather than trying to necessarily combat them with, you know, thousands of dollars of Swedish yogurt yeast.
Right, there you go. So that's the point of the 14 challenge, GBD 14 challenge, is to stop eating, starve them out, and your body will start to reset itself, and you're flushing it out, all the hydration and all that good stuff, and then you start over.
Indeed. All right, so Kay Gale, as I showed on the IG, that's why she wasn't nodding or saying anything. Sometimes we forget, we get the question on the IG. Hey, there's no feedback. So Kay Gale, if you're still on the IG, let us know if we answered your question, or ask another question. So thanks for that. Nadira, I had your question up in the chat, but I guess you're going to ask that to Dr. Amsu or me or the universe right now, right?
Well, no, it's two questions. It's that question about the oat test. So it's that one. The oat test, does that stand for organic acid test?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Which one is better, the urine or the gut test, or is that the same thing?
Well,
or like which?
Well, do if you want to, you know, right now you are in a speculative position. So do whatever test you can get to get, you know, to get answers to your questions, because we do love when people go and find out exactly what's going on, and then we can, you know, say, okay, here's what you need. Oh, you got, you know, this is what's going on. Okay, here's this supplement.
Okay.
Here's this specific protocol or whatever, you know. So, you know, the urine test and the oat test do both.
Well, I just Googled it and it said that there's two different ones. There's a urine and then there's a gut. So I was just wondering which one was more effective. Or
do both. Do the gut and the urine.
Okay.
Remember, the urine test is going to tell you that if you're getting protein or anything else in your urine that it's passing all the way through into your urine.
Right.
Whereas the gut, you know, you may find something in the gut, but it may not pass through. So like do both if you can.
Okay.
You see, because they'll tell you, and you know, a lot of time they do these tests. They're very clever, in fact. They can tell from what's coming out where in the body this is happening, because they can tell by whatever proteins in your feces or whatever. Okay, so something's not happening. You're not getting, you know, bile enzymes or acids or anything like that. So sorry, just to reiterate, do both if you can.
Okay. One more question. So my second question is, because I'm trying to get an understanding for my own situation, is estrogen like the biggest, the main cause for fibroids growing, or could there be other factors?
All right.
Obviously,
right. So estrogen is the main factor, right? Is the main factor. Like that is the number one in causation. But there are, and it depends again with epigenetics, right? Genetics, epigenetics, with progesterone, right? Where progesterone there might be an imbalance with progesterone, which is causing an issue too, right? But that's more rare. Now there's an issue also of specific inflammatory proteins, right? That are being initiated through the aromatization process that is occurring, right, in the body. Now, when they say they don't know the root cause, they don't know what causes fibroids, that's where they're lying, because they know it is. And the statement after they say we don't know the cause, but then they admit to the estrogen. You know, but there are factors which could be contributing to the aromatization process, like the substances that get into your body that cause inflammation.
Okay.
Right, that cause an inflammatory response. You know, so even though coffee is not an estrogenic substance, it's high in caffeine, nitrogenic, and that has a toll on your liver, and then it affects your liver's ability to filter and metabolize estrogen out of the body, flush it out, and so, there's direct, primary cofactors or primary factors, and then secondary and tertiary cofactors that also involve with, you might have a gut issue, a digestive issue, where you're not getting certain nutrients,
I feel like that's a factor in my a major factor in my situation. I cannot prove it, but I think that may have something to do with why my body's not responding as well as it should.
Right.
But I can't prove it right now.
Okay. Yeah. So, and again, you guys live on the New Jersey, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And, it might be the climate that you're in is not conducive to you. You might, if you move to somewhere tropical, you probably will flourish.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
Can I ask another question as well? And you may or may not know the answer to this, or most people say the same thing. I'm not sure if we ever talked about stress hormones, right? And yeah, so listen, you may be feeling great, right? You got a beautiful smile, of course, but stress hormones play a very large part in our health generally, right? And they're very pernicious and subtle. And so again, you may be generally feeling great and not realizing that you may be releasing a lot of stress hormone, which will absolutely exacerbate every inflammatory condition. Okay. And so, you may be doing all of the right things clinically, right? You may be eating the right foods and, detox your house, see us come around, the guy in the overalls and everything. And stress hormones may be exacerbating your issue. I'm not saying that's what it is, but I'm just putting it out there. So when Pamela and your mum are at the house, maybe you can put on some, Barry Manilow tapes and sort of de-stress.
Barry White.
Barry White, yeah, that was easy.
Barry Manilow, yeah.
Pamela's laughing because she knows she's got Barry Manilow CDs like right now under the bed. She's like, damn, let me hide these. How did Mr. Breaks know? But all joking aside, I'm glad you're laughing. But, all of us on the call today, and the probably, biggest disease in the world right now is actually stress and anxiety, stress hormones. I'm not saying that all of the other conditions don't exist. They absolutely do, but the stress hormones exacerbate those and makes it harder for you to recover. So again, you'll be doing all the right things, you're exercising, all the rest of it. But what's going on in here, subconsciously often enough, is triggering and releasing.
But here's the thing though, right? So the human body, right, is built to handle stresses. So when we release stress or stress hormones, it's supposed to be acute. It's a reactionary thing. Right. It's not supposed to be constant.
It's the constant.
Right?
Yeah.
Now the problem is when other hormones which neutralize the effects of corticosteroids, adrenaline and whatever else may be going on, right? That's the dysfunction, where you may have something weighing on your mind and we're supposed to be able to deal with it. And it takes energy to deal with these things. But then the HPA axis, right? So you have your hypothalamus, which is like the central control unit, right? Which regulates and releases hormones that switch on adrenals, right? That's, that tell glands to release hormones. Then when adrenaline or cortisol is released, then there's balancing hormones that are there to now alleviate the harsh effects of cortisol, right? Now, it's when those things don't kick in because of a deficiency where you're not producing certain balancing hormones, certain balancing chemicals. That's where problems lie. So when you are in a stress situation, right, which is why in asylums, right, we're going all the way to the asylum now. We're going Arkham, right? They juice people up. They give people sedatives and whatever, uppers, downers, inside outers, whatever it is, right? They provide chemicals because the body is lacking a natural substance to deal with it. So they give something else, but they give a concentrated form or they give something, synthesized form, and regardless of the side effects.
And often addictive as well.
Right. And then your body says, okay, I'm getting something which behaves like this natural, endogenous hormone or neurotransmitter or whatever. I'm stopping producing it.
So do you have a supplement for stress? That was going to be my next question, because I have Hopi. I don't know how to Hopi. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Hopi.
I have that. But do you have? Is there a supplement? Maybe I
Neuroplex and D3.
I have both of those.
Right.
Okay. All right.
And de-stressing techniques as well.
Right, and Qigong, meditation.
Yes.
So one thing about de-stressing as well is that, those times just said Qigong, right? You must retrain your brain. You must retrain your brain, which is one of the benefits of the detox. I know I keep going back to that, but there's a reason why the 14, for example, well, all of them are powerful. The 14 and the 30 are so powerful because, yes, you're desisting from eating the food. You're removing toxins from your diet, from you're not imbibing toxins for a certain period of time. But the habits that you form, the habits that you break in that period, retrain your brain, which is why a lot of people, when they detox and they come out of it, they realize not only they don't crave things because, you know, we've killed those bacteria, right? But they've stopped those habits. They've broken those habits. It's a mental thing. And when you're on the road to getting well, you're taking all the right nutrients, you're eating the right food, that is your opportunity to retrain your brain. And that is where Qigong, physical exercise, movement, yoga, therapy. Go to a therapist. And
I do.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'll let you finish.
And I'm just saying, so, you know, utilize all the tools, right? And look, we are the supplement people. This is what we do, right? This pays our rent. But we're not saying that do that and nothing else. You know, we can't make you do the Qigong, but we tell you that you need to do it, right? And so if you think of all the tools you have at your disposal, including supplementation to get your body physically right, to reach homeostasis, so that all of these other things are more beneficial. But seek all of the other things as well. Sorry.
And here's the thing. Here's something that's, you know, so profound, so important. We are, by nature, humans need community. We need other humans around us.
Indeed.
All the time, right? Even if you, at the end of the day, you go and sleep in a bed on your own, all right? You go and sleep in a bed on your own. But, you know, this is why fellowship, right? Where we surround ourselves with like-minded people, right? So whether it's for worship, right? Or spiritual, you know, whatever it is, whether we're out and we're partying, right? We like to be around others where we can rejoice, whether it's laughing together, singing together, praying together, the together part, right? And a lot of people who suffer with depression and anxiety, they're more reclusive, right? They're on their own. They do things on their own. Right, they keep themselves to themselves and whatever. But when you're around people, right, we pull energy from each other. Mm-hmm. Even if we, you know, this guy's got a totally different opinion to me, and we're debating, we go back and forth. Guess what? We're exchanging energy. You know, and it's that energy exchange that we support each other with. We literally keep each other up. We lift each other up. So, you know, and, you know, during this whole pandemic, they said to people to isolate, stay at home, stay on your own, socially distant, so there was no touching, right? We need to touch each other. I mean, Mikey's always trying to touch me, and I say, no, not you.
You know you like it. You know you
not
like
you,
it.
bruh.
You're always fighting it, but deep down.
But we have to be in contact. There are energies that we emit and that we receive from each other. And laughing is also a fantastic antidote for anxiety and depression and stress.
And
laughing.
Let me add a few things in there as well, right?
Laughter's good medicine.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Thank you, Laverne. You know, there are so many things that we neglect in our lives, community and otherwise. And Dr. Hampson made a great point about, you know, the quarantine and people not being able to express themselves, to touch, to communicate. There was a big report about how many people, I always say this every week, let me go and pull up the report and find out people that needed social interaction before the quarantine. Quarantine happened and didn't have that social interaction. And sorry to use these terms, but people are losing it literally because they didn't have that social interaction, and they're breaking quarantine to get that social interaction. But, you know, some of the things we talk about, if I just read this list out, I remember Dr. Kenneth MD had released something some time ago, right? And, you know, if you ask someone, you know, you ask a soldier, what are the basic needs of a human being? They say water, shelter, you know. Yeah, right. we get that, right? Food, honestly, yeah. But, you know, just going through this understanding and growth, right? It's going to sound a little bit corny, but I want everyone to appreciate how important these things are and how not having these things can add to stress and anxiety. You know, the biggest disease in America also, everything I say is the biggest, loneliness. Right. 300 million people live in crowded cities, but we live in the most lonely time of our existence on this planet. Connection, love and acceptance, right? it's not just having people around you, but it's also interacting and having acceptance, which is why we even have cultures, is so people can feel accepted. It's not good enough to just be counted in a number and to be physically present, but to be accepted within that as well.
Right.
Which is why we have clubs and groups and social lodges and man, you know, the bowling league. Right, exactly. Contribution and creation. This is something that I find is very important that many people feel they don't have the talent for, or they don't have the right for, because there are so many great artists and creators in the world that, oh my God, you know, no one's going to want to see my art. Let me not put pen to paper. But creativity is also important to a balanced mental existence. You know, I'm trying to find the right words here. Be creative, do creative things, and don't worry about how good your art is. You know, if you draw matchstick men and dogs, draw matchstick men and dogs. But it's about that creativity. Some people make music, some people sing, some people, you know, make beats on the sampler, whatever it is. Some people like to, you know, grow flowers, have a garden, and really like, you know, really dress the garden. Have something in your life that really talks to your creativity, and don't. Here's the thing. Here's the crazy thing about creativity. Don't compete. You see, competition creates more stress. Do your thing. Appreciate your thing. Don't necessarily worry about if other people are necessarily going to like it. What we find about human beings is that if we like something, someone else is going to like it, right? And remember, some things you do are for your own satisfaction. It's not everything you do is for necessarily recognition or to be graded, right? Because you're just introducing more anxiety, right? I've done it, now I'm going to submit it. Then it comes back and you go, right? You get a 3 out of 10. Now it's another anxiety. There are some things you do for yourself. So be creative, but not necessarily be competitive, okay? Because we all need esteem and identity and significance.
There is healthy competition, though.
No, here's the thing. There's healthy competition if that's what you can handle healthy competition. Right. We're talking people that can't handle criticism. You know, there are people that can't handle people looking at them. You know, their neighbor says good morning. They're like, you know, they're shielding themselves. They're that far gone. You know, they've got a bit of a hill to climb because people develop so many anxieties and phobias growing up.
And that's the thing though with that is that when you have people who have phobias and that there's a deficiency,
some imbalance,
There's a nutrient deficiency with something, because when you're balanced, you're psychologically balanced, right? So let me ask you this, Nadira. When was the last time you danced?
Pamela, that's when Pamela played that Barry Manilow, wasn't it? You guys were in the.
They were doing the Carlton.
Well, to be honest, I'm a creative. I'm an artist. Period. Like I have a Master of Fine Arts degree too, but in addition to doing creative work, I still think you hit the nail on the head with the gut health, because I've had gut health issues.
Hold it, Nadira. Hold it.
She's trying to wiggle out of it. You asked a specific question.
When was the last time you danced?
About dancing.
What do you like? Just to dance for dancing's sake?
Yes.
What do you
Is there another type of dance? Oh, the formal dance, not the first dance at a wedding.
I'm not talking about the white girl dance where you just let it all flop out there. No, I'm talking about black people dancing.
I have rhythm. Thank you very much.
All right,
Nadira, it's not what he's asking you, though.
We'll be the judge of that, Nadira.
It's not what he's asking you.
Right? Now, when was the last time you danced and you let loose?
It's been a really long time. I don't even know.
All right. And this is one of the problems where, you know, look, all the holy scriptures that are out there, all the scriptures, right, that are out there. Let's take Psalms, right? Make a joyful noise unto the Lord, right? For instance, I'm not even a Christian like that, but I remember that one.
You said it well, though. I say you felt
when
you said it.
Used to catch me chatting in church. I say, don't say make a joyful noise before I got cuffed, right? But the point is, we're supposed to be singing, dancing, and having expression. It's our yang expression to let energy out. Because a lot of time we bottle stuff up and we don't let it out. And dancing, singing, joking, you know, having fun is key to good health. It's key. So when we say do Qigong, it's a way to moving your lymph nodes around, but Imagine doing that and you're laughing and you're making noises. So there are Qigong exercises where you are actually making noise. You're releasing energies by certain tones and expressions to get toxins out. And sometimes toxins are in the form of thought. Right?
Right.
So you see when some people scream, when they're frustrated, they get to that point and they just scream, they're releasing all that anxiety in one. You know? Some people cry. Some people silently cry, have a sob. Then you got those people who bawl. They're like, ah! Like they're wailing and stuff, but it's a release. And then you always say, all right, lay it out, let it out. I've done this to Mikey a lot of times. Just lay it out. She'll be back. Just lay it out. You know?
She never comes back. That's why I've stopped believing in you, but you know.
But, you know, these things are very important for health. So health, all right, we provide the supplements, the nutrients to help to balance the systems in your body. But then there's the expression. Now that you have the energy, now that you have the physicality, how are you expressing as a being, as a whole being, that everything comes together for this? Karaoke night. When was the last time you went out karaoke?
Oh, like 15, 20 years ago. I don't know.
See what I'm saying? You know, so there are these things that are factors that could be stopping you from getting better.
Okay.
So holistic is the whole thing.
The whole caboodle.
Yeah.
Was just saying in
Yeah.
America. And honestly, Nadira, you know, we're not picking on you. We just, it's a beautiful opportunity here. You know, they're having this conversation, but it's something that, you know, oftentimes, you know, we get asked, you know, yeah, I'm on your supplements, I did your detox and this thing didn't happen, or this thing didn't happen when it's supposed to. What is it, you know? And everyone sort of focuses in on, you know, the medicine, the medication or the treatment. And, you know, we don't always get the opportunity, which is why we love consultations, which is why we do this and, you know, why we allow, you know, private consultations, because then we can have a conversation with you about everything that's going on with you. And I'm telling you, often than not, more often than not, it's a culmination of things. Sometimes it's just one thing, right? You've been eating this thing and your body doesn't like it and expresses it in a rash, right? Fix that thing and it's gone, cool, right? But when you have inflammatory diseases and they're more pernicious, it's often, I guess Dr. Am's saying, a more holistic approach that needs to be taken. And you'd be so surprised, you know, the smartest, the richest people in the world, you know, have this little niggling problems with their social environment.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like us when we vacation, like when we take a break, it's like, all right, who we bringing? And we go somewhere and it's all fun. I can't do vacation where I'm sitting on a beach somewhere and I'm staring out into space. I can't. It's like, all right, I'll be bored.
That's the best kind of vacation.
See, but you got introverts that, you know, the introvert is gonna be like, yeah, but no, you gotta let you get out there, you know, with a group where, you know, you play sports. You can do competitive stuff in groups where you do let off steam. You are effing and blinding at somebody, you know, you're cussing somebody out or whatever. You're letting
that
the
can be a great
negative
release.
energy out. It's a great release. You run up and down, you're getting jokes, you're doing all these things.
Yeah.
You know.
And some sports you can hit people, which is brilliant. No, I'm trying to tell you, if you can kick someone in sport and get away with it, padded or otherwise, it's a great release. So, you know,
Yeah.
So,
No,
Nadira, go ahead.
No, I'm saying I understand what you're saying. It's holistic. It's not just me focusing in on, you know, my results. Like I have more work to do. I still want to find out what the health
tests.
issues.
Yeah. Please,
I believe that there is something.
Right.
But I don't know what it is right now.
Right. And, you know, what we're doing here is we're just pointing out the thing that you might not even be thinking about that could be, you know, a cofactor can turn into a main factor You understand? So like Chef Aki is doing a retreat. You know, every now and again she does retreats in Belize, right? And, you know, she does women's retreats. Trying to get us some co-ed thing going on, but it's like women's retreat where women feel safe. It's a nice environment, and they do all sisterly stuff. They dance, they chant, they do all kinds of stuff together, right?
I know a way around that, by the way.
We just go anyway,
You
innit?
go dressed up as Sears maintenance men, you know, white overalls and a blue van.
Gardeners, right?
There you go.
You know, but that's the reason why you get things where people have to arrange those things. But in your every day or every week life, put into your everyday or every week activities that involve others, that involve you dancing or singing. And I always talk about sex, right? So sex is also very important for health, right?
You're going to bring that up. I was waiting for it, and here it is. Thank you.
Here it is. Here it is now, right?
Here it is.
So I've met some women who are, you
Sexy.
know, they're like, they're frigid. And because of their
Frigidity.
they have, you know,
There's some aversion to...
right. It's like they don't like, you know, you tell a great joke and they're just staring you in the face like, yeah, whatever. And it's like, what's wrong with you? Oh, I know what you're missing.
You can't say that, though.
No.
You think it.
No, you can't.
You need
Vitamin D3, yeah.
You need D3. You need some D3 in your life. You know? The energy exchange, right? From orgasms, what it does to the brain. Energy explosions are taking place, right? It's good for the cardiovascular, your circulatory system.
Yes.
All kinds of neurotransmitters are released. Endorphins are released, right? All manners of things that are good for you, right? So, sex, everybody, sex.
Need more of that. Sex, D3 and
Hey, thank you.
Oncogen, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nadira. Always a pleasure having you on. And guess who's in the next room's got something to say? Miss Pamela. You know, I can hear her knocking on the wall in her.
I was waiting towards the end because I wanted to, I want to testify because you get a lot of questions, but I wanted to tell an experience that I had using all the things that I have right now, you know, the supplements and everything. And it was like so amazing. I said, I'm going to share this on the next call. As we know, as Nadira said, COVID got in our house, right? And the experience, well, you hear me talking, I've been like this the whole time, maybe a scratchy throat or whatever. And when it got like, I've already been told that I can be back outside and double, triple mask and all these other things. But as it was going on at the end, well, when, you know, you always have to get your call from your doctor. And the doctor started listing everything that I should be doing. You know, well, he was saying, well, you're not going through anything. Well, he doesn't know it, but I'm on the virus detox. So I've been taking that for quite a while. And then he was saying you need to take, you need to hydrate. We know that. Vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc. And then he said a Tylenol a day. And I said, what is that for? And he said, that prevents blood clots. I didn't say anything because in my head, I have deep vein, right? So I didn't say anything, right? It's like, check. And I kept going. So when I hung up, I realized I had everything, you know, and I was doing everything. So I was fine because I have like over 20 supplements, Black Detox supplements, and I take them regularly.
Right.
So when I hung up, I had no major symptoms. But when I hung up the phone, I don't know why, but all of a sudden, it felt like I was having the shortness of breath or chest pain or something like that. And I went, you know, like, where's that coming from? Let me run downstairs and check my safe and make sure everything is written out. So if Nadira has to handle things, because I'm about to be out of here, I want to make sure that's done. And then I went back upstairs and I text down to her and I went, well, what do you do for shortness of breath? And then she gave me this formula, of course, coming from Dr. Amsu, the camu, turmeric, hot water, red pepper, manuka honey. I mixed that up. And then I said, also, what about the breathing? And she said, tea tree oil or peppermint oil, put it in your diffuser. I did that. And I'm not kidding you. It was like a miracle. All of a sudden, I just did one cough. This is not even a huge, like mucus came up. My chest went clear. I started breathing normally. Everything was normal. And I was saying, I gotta share this with this group. It was like amazing. And then back to normal, I felt great. I slept like a baby. I didn't have to prop up. I could breathe. Everything was beautiful. So I just wanted to share that.
Excellent.
And I do want to, I'm putting my hands up here. Hopefully you can see my fingernails. Yep. My fingernails have not grown like this in like 10 years.
Right.
Amazing.
Usually will grow and they'll be brittle and they break. They are growing and they're not breaking. They are really tough. They're strong.
Right.
So had to share that. And then last but not least, you did say last time that you were going to have the vegan cake for the celebration because of the time that these sessions have been going on. And I said, you might have forgot the cake, but I was ready because I hit the big 7-0 on Monday. So I was waiting for my vegan cake.
And you know what? He didn't even get the cake.
We talked about the cake. Here's the problem we have,
right? He didn't get the cake. After all of that talk, you know, the man come back with his empty long arms, you know.
If I buy a cake on a Friday, no one's here.
We was Wednesday, you could have brought it yesterday,
Thursday, I buy this big old cake. No one's going to eat. You'll have 3 slices. I won't eat any. One of the boys might have some. And then this cake sits around and no one eats it. So I said, you know, we'll buy the cake on Monday.
Just buy slices. Just buy me my slice.
You know, there's another solution.
But you're on your way.
You knew I was going to say that.
Yeah. But it's on your way here.
No, but Pamela, congratulations. We weren't going to guess or ask your age. You look a lot younger than whatever it is you are. I can't see, the camera's all blurry. But you look amazing. 70 years old.
That's great. Fantastic.
You're supposed to be buying the cake. In fact, no, Nadira's supposed to be buying the cake.
Oh, she got some. I had so many things from them. Lots of vegan cake, carrot cake, all of that.
Yeah. Beautiful. Excellent. Congratulations. Well, you know, I'm always encouraged when I hear from you guys. Your whole family's on the health journey and you guys help each other and encourage others to be successcul, to push on. And, you know, I want to hear more about what's in the safe, but that's another conversation. We'll do a private consultation about that one. But I was interested. The first thing you did was went to the safe.
I want if there's 2 rows. I want the top row. I want the top shelf.
She didn't call 911. You know, she went to the safe and then she went to Nadira. I'm like, okay, I want to know what's in that safe. It's probably some jerk chicken. Well, Pamela and Nadira, appreciate you guys. Oh, go ahead. We
will not have to. I wanted to make sure that in my family I wanted the tradition. I've seen so many relatives of mine when they get down to the end and they forget to make sure that they have everything in order. And here they go with the GoFundMe. So I wanted to make sure everything was. It's not a joke.
You're 100% right. And on another call, we'll go back into stress and we'll talk about financial stress, relationship stress. I'm telling you, it's all related. And it's funny. It's cyclical because the stress can mess up your diet and the diet can mess up your stress. Man, it's deep, but we'll talk about it. So listen, guys, the Bell household, thank you very much. Congratulations on the birthday. Congratulations to all of you on your health journeys. And thanks for sharing everything with us. And we can't wait to have you guys back on next week. So love, love, love. Okay, Dr. Keela. Looking bright in yellow.
Hola. Feliz Año Nuevo, everybody. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Muchas gracias.
Was it Feliz what now?
Feliz Año Nuevo.
Feliz Año Nuevo. New Year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Año Nuevo.
So I just have a few very brief questions. Hope everybody's holiday was nice. The Life After Detox book, is that included in all the packages? Like if we buy a package, or we have to purchase that separately, please?
Life After Detox comes with all the detoxes.
Okay. Now, in the book, the file after actually says Life After Detox, because I'm asking because I didn't see it in my file. I may have overlooked
it.
Now,
which one are you doing? You got the
HER2 elimination.
All right. So So you have the Regeneration meal plan. So the Regeneration meal plan is basically like the Life After Detox meal plan.
Okay, that helps a lot. And then the other one I was doing to keep my muscle strength, muscle tone up is the Olympian.
Right.
Okay, so it would be in the Olympian then.
What will be in the Olympian?
The Life After
Life
Detox.
After Detox.
Oh, no. All right. So Life After Detox. Oh, it's in the athlete detox. There's a Life After Detox.
Okay, good. Now I know where to look. Okay, check. That's one out of 3. Okay. Second one
in the detox,
is, did you mention that a while back that the product called Fountain helps with nails?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's number 2. See, I go quickly. Because I know there are other people that have these questions too.
And this is the thing, right? What Pamela was just talking about. So
her stuff is on point.
Right. So one of the things that we've been talking about over the last few years is how often we have to cut our nails.
Yeah.
Cutting nails like twice a week now because by the I hate having nails. I can't do it. I feel like I feel dirty because I feel like stuff is getting in my nails. I can't do it. So I have to have my nails short. For various reasons. I caress better with no nails. You see what I'm saying?
TMI, right? Doc. TMI.
No. No, I'm talking about I caress like my own arm, But anyways. But it's how fast nails grow, how fast hair grows, right? All this integumentary system.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. So Derma In does that and Fountain.
Okay, Derma In and Fountain.
Yes.
Derma In and Fountain. Now I have to recommend some stuff to some people. And that brings me to my next question. So a gentleman asked me, I think he's like 66. And it happens to be a relative of mine. He was diagnosed with prostate cancer. He had it removed. He was going to get the pellets, but opted to get it removed because he wanted to avert the possibility of mets to the brain because it took out one of his in-laws. So when I asked him about it, how things are going, he said before he didn't need to have emotional connection to a woman to have sex with her. But now for the erection to be full, he has to have an emotional connection. Right. So, but he said his desire is there. And I know he does have a girlfriend because I met her. The gentleman happens to be my cousin. I don't know what it is when people recognize you in the medical field, all of a sudden the men in your family want to ask you all these questions.
Isn't that interesting, right?
Right.
Isn't that interesting? So
I had to get used to that. That was one of the first things I had to get used to because cousins come out the woodwork with, hey, something ain't working right down there. Can you help me with it? I'm like, am I the right person to ask that question? No, but I wanted to get for him the right set of products. Since he no longer has a prostate, would the men's one for the libido be best? And if so, please let me know which one.
Yes. So we have the Sex Fix, right?
Okay.
Which is virility and deep vein, right? A lot of issues with men are circulatories, cardiovascular.
Right.
Right. They have blocked arteries due to diet, due to smoking. Does he smoke?
No, he's been abstaining from smoking for a while.
Okay.
I know that.
So he used to smoke though.
Yeah, he used to smoke. I would say for a good 40-year history.
Right. So yeah. So if you've been smoking for 40 years, there's serious issues with blood pressure and arteries being clogged, atherosclerosis and whatnot. Right. And the penile artery is like 2 to 3 times narrower in diameter than other arteries, as you know, right? And in fact, with women, it's like 4 times smaller than a penile artery, right? So women often suffer with erectile dysfunction and not know it, and have a whole bunch of sexual dysfunctions going on, right? Female sexual dysfunction. But back to the men in your family, right? So virility and deep vein.
Okay.
To clear those arteries up and to get proper blood flow, proper circulation. And there are exercises to do as well. The Qigong exercises, turtle breathing, gathering yang, liver tonification.
Okay. And then I know breathe is the other thing he'll need for his lungs.
Right, yeah.
Okay. And then you said the turtle breathing.
Yeah, turtle breathing. And also there's a U bladder, which is one of the deep stasis healing, where you do the movements, but you're making noises at the same time.
Okay, for the proper resonance frequency to get the cells in order.
Wait, Woodrow, can we quickly play the a quick clip of Qigong? Now, ladies, brace yourselves, all right?
And then after that, I have one more question, but I'll hold.
All right, so Woodrow, cue it up. Let's see if we can play that. Here we go. All right. So first of all, let's just
can we have a round of applause, please, for
my fantastic pajamas outfit.
I don't dislike the pajamas. I just very silky. It's a good size.
Question: are you going to make these available?
They're supposed to be.
The video, the Qigong video.
Yes.
Does the link get sent?
I might be missing it.
Right, we're going to make it free for everyone on the call. You get Qigong video. You get Qigong video. You get Qigong video. You guys are special for being on here. How's that?
No, the reason is I want to make sure I'm looking at you two have so many, but I don't know if that's the right stuff,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You understand? Like, people can say that they have coconut water, but when you buy coconut water, are you looking at the back label to make sure it's just coconut water, or is this some kidney killing preservative in it?
Right.
Or
now you can tell that is the right Qigong by what I'm wearing. All right. You can always tell real Qigong by the outfit that man is wearing.
Got it. Okay. I know you make a joke. Okay, I got it.
Wait, serious things. We are talk. Serious big man thing. That's serious talk.
I know, but I also know you speak a lot of tongue in cheek a lot of times. So remind me of my Uncle Byron. So the last couple things was about the music, listening to music, whether or not people recognize it. You all were on point about that music thing, because when we're stressed, we're mentally and physically at a different frequency. And then when you change the music around you, you're literally changing the ambient vibration around you. It impacts your cells. And so, for instance, there's a reason why when you go to aerobics, they play certain beats per minute type of music, because when your ear hears it through vagus, it tells your heart to increase rate.
Right.
So you force the adaptation before you're chemically through the vibration before your muscles are actually doing the movement. So you're literally starting to release the endorphins in advance to prepare to sustain that movement a lot longer. That's why there is baby making music, there is aerobic music, there's music in the swimming pools. It's not fluff. A lot of people think it's fluff. It's not fluff. And if nothing else tells you that, having been a ballet dancer the early part of my life for like 6-7 years, I can tell you of all the disciplines, ballet was the hardest because it's equivalent to lifting like quarters of your own body weight, especially the leg movements, not to even mention when you get into African dance, there's a lot of core. So they changed the tempo to reset your brain so that you are ready to recruit the muscle mass you need to complete the movement. It's not a joke.
Right.
Then lastly, with respect to the laughing, don't take it offense. Some women are not gonna laugh at your jokes right off, because laughter and food are the only intimate things that two people can do outside of sex. So if they don't want you to have access to them sexually in their mind, they are not gonna laugh at your jokes.
Yeah, well, that's all. I mean, that's okay, you know. So the 10% of the women that are out there, they can, all right. But 90%. Oh, you trying to tell me 90%? All right, that's some good odds.
No. It's a protective mechanism, because if she finds you funny, that's a
she's let her barriers down. Absolutely, right. I tell her that all the time.
Having a father that made my mother laugh often, he knew once he got her to laugh, it's all over.
It's all over. The argument done. Argument done.
Right, argument done.
But you see, Keela, no, that's a great point. It's a very, very valid point as well. But here's the thing. I think what we're in tongue in cheek, we're playing around, but what we're talking about is people that have a barrier so high up that, no manner of jokes, no manner of prodding, no manner of caressing, opens them up, because they have sort of deep-rooted anxieties or mistrust even as well. And so, you're absolutely right. I think we're really talking to people that have, again, the barriers so high up that they inhibit even their own joy, and it may not come from a man. Dr. Emfs is very charming, and I know most women, when he meets them, they just just start giggling before they even talk to him sometimes, right?
Pheromones,
right? Pheromones, is that what it is, right? But some people just they need a little bit more. They've shut themselves off, and I'm sure you see this all the time in your line of work, Keela. But that's a great point you make, absolutely.
Yeah, and don't
how well
on the first date, man. Don't go cooking them for, like, my cousin got in trouble for cooking for all his dates the first date. Nobody wanted to leave. It's like, okay, you broke up with me, but can we still be friends, because that coconut rice was real good.
That's why I don't cook for women till way in, till I know that they're bona fide 100%. Because if I cook for them,
don't do it.
They won't leave the house. I have to call Sears around with the blue van and to come and lift them out. So Keela, how well do you arabesque still? Do you still do ballet?
I still do a lot of the movements to keep up my muscle mass. I will be 50 this year, and that's a recent picture.
Wow.
So yeah, I'll be 50 this year. That picture is very recent.
We love that picture. We have it in our archive also.
Yeah. So I still do the movements because even though my dad, when I was in my tween years, he used to still take me to the gym with him. Anytime he went to the gym, encouraged me to lift weights just to make me a stronger ballet dancer, and then stronger overall, and to set my hypothalamus in the right path. But also, exercising and weightlifting for a teenager is a very good disruptor of pheromones. Like, you don't want to act like a rabbit afterward. You don't have the energy.
Yeah.
You don't want to be out here socializing
Right.
But that was my dad's version of birth control.
Right, yeah. She said.
But to my family is watching, so they know I'm being very candid when I say that. But seriously, I still do the weight training. I still do the pirouettes. Pirouettes are hard because they involve so many areas of your brain, your vestibular system,
I stopped
your
doing
core, and your lower limbs, as well as your upper limbs for balance. So I check my balance. You know, if I can still do 2 pirouettes in a row, I'm pretty good.
That's awesome.
But the physical demands it takes to do ballet, it is brutal.
It's
the
a very
only thing
serious
I didn't
discipline,
do was toe, because toe will give you feet
that will
look
deform
like
you. That will literally change your body.
Right.
You know,
that's when I quit ballet, because I had advanced far enough where I could do it. But now my parents are like, my dad was like, no, as a woman, you've got to have nice feet.
Yeah.
You can't do that. So that was it for me. But ballet does it. That's why Pilates does such good work, because a lot of the training of Pilates comes from ballet. And if you as a woman want to build tone muscles and have, you know, a PhD, you know, a butt that's high and deep, you know, like you have the muscles in your glutes, ballet is the way to go.
You call it a PhD?
Right. Yeah.
A butt that's high and deep.
Right, like you have ample, like you're 3D.
I'm stuck on the PhD.
You know, you don't want to be a tuck under. A tuck under where all your butt is like right before it hits the back of your thigh. That's a tuck under.
Right.
You want to have like an octagon butt.
Okay.
Ballet will help you do that.
So you don't want to have a flat back, is what you're saying.
Yeah, you don't want to have a flat back. Ballet will help you build those glutes, because that's where a lot of your power comes.
Right.
In lifting, you know, to do all those complex movements, you have 3 sets of gluteal muscles, and all those levels have to be very well toned in order to direct the leg where it needs to be in space and time.
Awesome.
Right. It's a high discipline. Don't sleep on ballet, people. Don't sleep on classical music.
Not at all. I did ballet for weeks. Listen, Dr. Keeler, we love having you on here. Always love you sharing that great information, and thanks for schooling me on BHDs. I'm gonna be looking out for them now and just saying, that's a BHD. That's not a BHD. That's an undertuck. You know, for research purposes only. But Keeler, thank you for dialing in. Appreciate you on here.
Let's go Miami.
We should go Miami.
Yeah.
And check out BHDs. Oh, check out Dr. Keeler. Okay.
No,
BHDs. Right, with Dr. Keeler. Is she Miami? No. It's 7:00. That means Ruth B.
Yeah. Always.
Right on cue. Right when we're packing up, pulling the wires out, unplugging everything, switching the lights off. Ruth pops up.
Whatever. I've been waiting patiently, I'll have you know.
For the last 3 minutes.
3 minutes, right? Yeah.
After somebody on the panel, on your panel, was talking about me being ill when I was younger. Not very nice.
No names were mentioned, so you just hot yourself up.
Names and dates were changed to protect the innocent.
And now the innocent have now made themselves guilty.
Hold on. I just want you lot to see what I'm having to contend with, yeah?
In the bitter cold of England.
Right, with my hat on my head.
Turn on the heating, please.
We go through this every week.
Every
week. Put 50p in the thing.
It costs too much. So.
But you know, isn't it interesting though? This is complete and utter segue, right? We're in 2022, and you know, all joking aside, you know, and you may be joking, but people in England are having to decide, right? It's too expensive to put the heating on, so I'm going to wrap up inside the home, right? And so, you know, Ruth, you're rich. You know, you're a big time city lawyer, and you're doing that. So imagine the people who can't afford, you know, the indigent, what they're going through. Sorry, you just put a thought in my head about, you know, people who are like really suffering out there, and you know, things are so expensive in the UK now. Just going back to the stress, right? Adding to stress, you literally choose between heat and food, transport, and even those social activities you're talking about. Wait, can I afford to go and join a social league?
Right.
Because I want heating in my house. I know it sounds drastic, but Ruth, am I making this up? There are people who are having to make those decisions, right?
No, absolutely. There's people that don't have the heating on at all, and they wear lots of layers
Like someone I know.
Yeah, honestly, I've got on layers, but I always have on layers. I find that I've been really cold since I lost the weight.
Right.
Yeah, I just find it very cold.
We need to put some more muscle on you, Ruth. Well, Miss Ruth, did you have a question? You just came to pick on.
Yes. No. I'm
Captain
three
Ahab over
things.
here.
Very quick one, because Dr. Amsu, with his sassy self, called women that aren't having sex frigid. That's not nice.
I didn't say that. I didn't see. You know what? People always go to the extreme and put in words. I didn't say that women who are not having sex.
Saying women frigid. Why did you just jump there?
No, I didn't say that. You know what? No, there's always somebody that hears something and then it's like, no, I'm saying no. I'm saying that there are women out there who are frigid, right? Because they're not having sex. Not that they're not having sex because they're frigid.
Well, that's not what you said.
That's exactly what I said.
That's maybe,
play back the tape.
Yeah, we'll play back later.
Play back the tape.
You were here. You just
play the tape back.
You did not say because they're not having sex. You said people that are frigid and women that are frigid.
No. He was actually talking about.
There was no.
So I'm at, you know me. I'll be honest, because sometimes I won't defend him because he cracks me up. But no, he really was alluding to there are people who are frigid, and then we start to sort of expound upon why they may or may not be, and even the comments Dr. Keeley was making about not necessarily because they don't want to laugh with you because it's a defense mechanism. We're really talking about, I don't know what percentage of subset of people, women, even men. I think they're frigid men who are closed off. And so we were just discussing, some of the reasons why they may be closed off and some of the things they may need to do to open themselves up because it does release a whole bunch of hormones that are non-conducive to the body. So yeah, it wasn't that all women who don't have sex are frigid or whatever it is you said. But thank you.
Right, next question, next comment.
The next thing, I'm trying to remember what her name is. The young lady who's 70.
Pamela.
Thank you, Pamela. She said that she took something that cleared her chest straight away. I didn't quite capture it, and I wanted to capture it. So I wanted to know what it was because she said she wanted to share. And
so there was two things,
working.
Right? There was two things.
I was working, so yeah.
So there's the hot water with black with cayenne pepper, with turmeric, oil of oregano, there's cloves, there's honey, but there's also peppermint, right?
It was the steaming thing.
Right, the steaming thing with peppermint, right? Peppermint and melaleuca, tea tree.
Tea tree, all right.
Right. So here's the reason why we tell people to take manuka honey, tea tree, eucalyptus, right? So whenever you see anything to do with colds and everything for years, you will get eucalyptus sweets and whatever, and it's like, take this sweets and it will clear your ear passage because it's got the eucalyptus in it, but only that it's put in with sugar and whatnot, so it's not that effective, right? But when you have the raw thing, the raw substance, it's going to knock, decongest the airways. So peppermint is not as good as eucalyptus or tea tree, but there are properties in peppermint that are great. But even though peppermint is also estrogenic, so it's a short time for a specific purpose.
No, it's fine. I don't like peppermint, so that's all right.
Right.
Okay.
Are you making a steam of this, or is this like a tea?
You do a tea, and you can make steam as well. Do steam with it as well. Steam with the cloves, cayenne pepper, turmeric, and eucalyptus or tea tree. And
cayenne pepper. Won't that burn your eyes?
No, it depends on how much you put in there. It will help to get rid of impurities, but you know, don't put it into your eye.
No, I meant when you're steaming, because it makes your eyes burn anyway when you put the tea tree oil in.
Right.
There.
I mean, a lot of substances, when it's clearing you out, you close your eyes when you.
I was gonna say you can close your eyes.
Yeah, you can close your eyes.
You really want that
or put on protective goggles if you want to look into the bucket.
You want that thing to hit your sinuses, get right into the back of your throat.
You so know I'll be using a bucket with a towel.
Right, but don't tell any of your frigid friends.
Oh, dear, you're so bad. You're so bad. Right. And there was one, I think there was one other thing, but I can't remember. So that'll do. That'll do.
Thank you, Miss.
Thank you.
All right, you're very welcome.
Amana.
She's always later than Ruth.
She's worked. I think they conspire. Right, they text each other. Right, what time are you going on? What time are you going on? 6:59. Yeah.
I'm only on this. Sorry about this.
Even worse than Amana. It's Amana and Desi.
And Desi.
Well, how y'all doing? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Merry New Year.
Yes, yes. So, you said something very interesting earlier about cauliflower. I didn't hear you all the way because I was a little busy at that time working. Does cauliflower makes a woman's body produce more estrogen or what? Because it don't seem like it's natural in nature that it's white and it's, I don't know. I'm not asking.
Cauliflower is great, right? Because it inhibits aromatization and estrogen production in the body. It binds to the estrogen receptor, the beta receptors, estrogen receptor beta, which has a down-regulating effect of estrogen.
So if a woman eats a lot more cauliflower, it helps to flush out the extra estrogen?
Yes.
And what's the best way a woman should eat that?
You can steam it. You can grill it without try not to make it black, but you know, you can put it in the oven. Put it in the oven.
Oh, okay.
Season it up if you want.
Other greens to make a smoothie with it. How about if I add it to a smoothie with just, other green leafy vegetables and beets and celery and stuff like that? I'm just asking.
I mean, you could do, because it's the same. If you're blending it up, it's still gonna be the substance. Yeah. However you will. Okay. Might taste disgusting. I haven't heard of
cauliflower smoothie.
But
add some purple potatoes.
How about broccoli?
Broccoli's pretty good, but it's a goitrogen, so sparingly.
Ooh, so that will have a woman's body produce more estrogen then if she don't.
No, it's a goitrogen, meaning it can affect your thyroid gland if in excess. So it's just something to be cognizant of. As with a lot of cruciferous vegetables are goitrogens. So you just have to, be cognizant of that. If you do have a thyroid issue, whether it's hyper or hypo, to be cognizant that you can be putting your thyroid under stress.
So I noticed that whenever you talk about any particular food item, you always say this food produces more estrogen, in your body. This food does this to you, or this food does this, right? My question to you is, do you have a book that actually says, okay, if you eat carrots, females, it's going to do this for you. If you eat celery, it does this. Or if you eat this, it does this to the body, this to your hormones, this to your blood system and all that. You know what I mean?
And there we have it. I in this book here, I talk about what foods are estrogenic that need to be given up, right? And there's what you replace. There's a page of here's what you include into your diet that are anti-estrogenic. All right.
Okay. Tawahat, thank you so much. That was very good. I'm going on questions for right now. I can't think of anything else.
I said sorry about Man City.
Cheers. Amanu, always a pleasure having you on. Thank you. You've closed this out. Oh, there's a question from someone.
Thank you.
I saw a yellow hand in a green background. Look, I know you just jumped off. I think isn't that Keela's family?
Yeah, it's just a quick question regarding your Qigong videos, Qigong. I have clients that definitely need that.
Yes.
I need to find out how they can pay you for access.
Oh, they don't need to pay me for access.
I just gave away free copies to everyone on the call today.
Yeah, but you had to have somebody put that together. And if it's my clients that need access to it, they should pay you.
We agree too. But we will send you the link, Dr. Keela.
Yeah, when they purchase a detox, they will have access.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you,
welcome.
Doc. Well, folks, I thoroughly enjoyed today. I wasn't sure what to expect, but it's always great. It's the first Friday show of 2022. We didn't do last Friday because it was New Year's Day, New Year's something. So yeah, this is great. Really enjoy this. Great questions. Thanks for everyone on the IG, everyone on the Zoom, everyone on the YouTube. And we will be doing more of these. And we're going to be doing some new things soon. And we're going to be changing some things. So you may not get a lot of these in the future. We may start doing something different. But we'll remember you guys. You guys were our day ones. And so, yeah, we're going to lock you guys in. So when we do our new things, we'll make sure you guys are with us because you're our family. Friends. I was getting emotional there. But listen, guys, it's a great show. Dr. Emfs, what do you think?
Thanks for having us.
Captain Ahab.
Oh, hey, this man's throwing shade on the glow.
I don't know if I can throw enough shade in the complete
angelic stuff. I'm a
dark
messenger.
You'll be seen in that bright white jumper. Well, listen, folks, it's been an absolute pleasure. You know where to catch us. Make sure you download the app, the Great Black Detox app. Give us your testimonies in the app. Give us 5 stars. Email us, message us. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, The Great Black Detox on YouTube. Put on the notifications so you get alerts. And please turn on the notifications from the app. Sometimes we send out notifications from the app, exclusive offers and stuff, and we don't know who sees them. I think there's a way of doing it. But anyway, turn notifications on so you see those so you don't miss anything. And also, make sure you got notifications for our text messages as well. So it's been great. Good night from him, Dr. Amsi, yours truly, Mr. Breaks, and the whole production team here. Safe detoxing, happy detoxing, be healthy, dance, love, have sex, don't be frigid. Sending love to everyone. See you guys next week.
Take care. Peace.